Hi everyone, I'm Erin, and welcome to an Emo Girl's Guide to the Galaxy, where we debate, rant, and curse too much. If you like books, sarcasm, and hate the patriarchy, then you've come to the right place.
Hey, I'm Jess, and I'm here with your bookish updates for the week. On May 24th, the next Stay a Spell book comes out that we've been talking about, and it is called Always Practice Safe Hex. Is that what you said?
By Juliet Cross.
By Juliet Cross.
I love that.
So this is about the next couple in the Stay a Spell series, and witches, vampires, some wolves, but it's a rom-com. So we are all here for it. And then on 6/1, West Side Love Story by Priscilla Oliveras comes out, and it's a rom-com, a heart-stirring romance of star-crossed love, feuding families, or it says familias, and the bond of sisterhood by USA Today bestselling author Priscilla Oliveras. So that sounds cute as well. I always like a good Romeo and Juliet.
We love the sister vibes.
West Side Love Story rom-com. Hopefully no one dies at the end.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, rom-com, but make it
not calm.
Not calm.
Not calm.
I'm Loretta, and I am going to start the Around the Room updates this week. Unfortunately, Dev is still out living her best Los Angeles life right now. So if you want to follow her adventures, you can find her at Read by Dev.
Yes.
And you can be jealous like we are. But
yes.
I, in preparation for this episode, read a baseball romance because I've never read a sports romance ever. So I was like, I should read something. So I read a baseball romance called The Locker Room by Megan Quinn. I have feelings about it. I have a lot of feelings that I will share later.
Can't wait to hear.
But I did start Brooklyn Air by Serena Bowen. That is the hockey romance that Erin has been recommending. And it's so good. I love it.
Yay.
I'm like 40% in. And I'm obsessed, and I want to read them all now. So that's been exciting. But that's all I got.
All right. Well, I was trying to avoid what I've been doing, and I could avoid it no longer. I have gone down the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial rabbit hole. I have spent the last 2 nights I mean, probably still tip of the iceberg. I probably have a good many more nights in me of just watching more content.
I've been actively forcing myself not to look stuff up about it because I know that I'll become obsessed with it.
That is what I was doing, and then like it got brought up recently when I was talking to my sisters when I was visiting them in LA, and then I was like, all right, give me the TLDR, the too long didn't read, and even that was too long. We were just going into it, and then I was like, all right, I'm hooked. I knew I would be. I'm hooked. I got it. This is compelling. I have to know. I have to hear all of this because obviously anyone can go and look it up, but initially it seemed, for a lot of people fairly black and white. She came out saying that he was abusive to her, height of the Me Too stuff, really the face of that for a lot of people, and he went and tried to say, like, she was lying and he didn't win the case in the UK, and now he's here in the US, like, fighting again, being like, all of the stuff that she said was untrue about me. And there is a lot of evidence to back up, like, that she is an actual psychopath and that she is full-on lying, and, like, it is crazy.
Literally everything I hear about that trial sounds batshit insane.
It is. And it just keeps getting more. And the stuff that is, like, particularly batshit about it is that, like, they were both, like, secretly recording each other a lot. And she started doing it, like, first, like, way early. And then when he knew that she was doing it, then he started to do it. So, like, there is, like, video and recorded evidence, like, of their times together. And obviously, like, if one of them knows they're recording, they're gonna do stuff to egg the other person on or whatever. But it's fucking crazy because you could just, like,
that sounds
just get, like, a little bit of a window into this insane relationship, and then just
that sounds on par with 2022.
Yeah, and then just, like, some of the, like, I haven't been watching it live because I, like you said, Loretta, I was trying to just be like, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. I can't never come back out. I'm down it. So I want to go and watch more of the video footage of, like, their testimonies and stuff. But Yeah, it's
My cousin went straight down that rabbit hole, and she was like sending us all, she was like obsessively watching it, like sending us all messages, and finally we were like, girl,
yeah.
I can't right now. I don't have the capacity for this at the moment. I'm gonna definitely want to watch it later because it's definitely like
there's
right
like
up my
crazy
alley,
conspiracies too that like Elon Musk is involved and is the father of her surrogate baby,
of course.
and there's like video footage of him like going into their penthouse like while they were together, like. And that he's, like, helping fuel the media that's, like, pushing her narrative that, like, she's this victim because she has stuff on him from, like, some kind of, like, sex party that she hosted, and we don't know what it is, but, like, something that Elon does not want to get. Like, crazy stuff. But, like, when you get into it, you're like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to absorb all of
the classic sex party blackmail.
So what is he doing? Buying Twitter so that people can't tweet about his sex parties?
So then there was something that came out that said, like 11% of the like tweeting and stuff that's happening about this is like inauthentic. It's bots, and they're all primarily pro Amber. So like most of like she's buying them. He's somebody like there are like a ton of like fake things out there like pushing like, oh, Amber's right, and they're not real people.
This is what happens when toxic people end up together.
Totally. Mm-hmm. But it's compelling stuff, and I'm definitely from the information I have so far pretty solidly on Johnny's side. But I went down the rabbit hole. I've been wasting a lot of time. It does not impact my life at all, but now I'm just invested, like so many of us are. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, Jess?
Jess?
Yeah. So not as cool. I finished all the Bridgerton books. Like all the way through Gregory's, and I was not super impressed by Gregory's until I got to the end, and then I was like, what is happening?
Your messages were so crazy.
I was like, this is stupid. I'm mad at them.
Out of
I don't
context,
like them, blah, blah, blah. And then
great.
I got to the very end, and I was like, okay, I take all of it back. This is just an excellent ending. Like, I'm not sure that I'm swooning over anybody. I just, like, the straight chaos of the last 20% of the book, just, like, I lived for it.
You were like, I'm not a fan of this. The next, they keep talking about
bored
next.
And, like,
I don't get it. And then you're like, oh my God. And I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, I get to the end, and I'm like, okay, this is highly entertaining. The other thing is that I watched, my sister came over and was like, hey, have you seen the show Bad Vegan? And I was like, no. And she's like, you've got to watch this. It's like this crazy documentary about this lady who opened a restaurant and how like she basically got into a 2-person cult with this con artist. And through the whole thing, you're trying to figure out like, was she actually in on it, or is she a
victim? Yeah.
Like, and part of you is like, this is stupid. Literally nobody would believe that. But then part of me has watched enough cult stuff that I can understand how somebody can get slowly brainwashed over time. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, they start embezzling, and it's like this wild little journey, and it's like 4 hours long. So I sat and binged the whole thing because, you know, I gotta watch. I am who I am.
We are who we are.
This is just, yeah. I gotta watch some, but it's called Bad Vegan on Netflix, and I feel like everybody watched it when it came out, so everybody who's probably gonna want to watch it has already seen it. But now I have.
I think I was watching some of this where
she owned like a raw food restaurant in New York.
Yes, we didn't finish it, but I was watching this with Andrew, and it was crazy because he literally is a shady guy from the get-go.
Right, like she's messaging him. She meets him through Alec Baldwin on Twitter.
Yeah, but it
literally through Alec Baldwin. And then she talks to him for a long time, and they start telling each other they're in love with each other, and they've never even met.
Oh, God.
And they meet, and he doesn't look like himself. He's straight catfishing her.
Yeah, and then he just like keeps getting like heavier, which like whatever.
He gains like 200 or like 100 pounds over the thing. Because I think they said that at the beginning he was like just a little bit chubbier than his pictures showed. And she was like, that's fine. And then he ends up being like over 300 pounds, and he says it's the cult thing that he has to put on a meat suit.
No, but it's the craziest part because it's literally a 2-person cult. Like, no one else is in the cult. It's just him and her. And he, like,
it really
he tells her all this crazy stuff. Like,
but it's
she thinks her dog was reincarnated. Like, it was
gonna
his
live forever
dog in a past life, and, like, that they're all meant to be together.
He's immortal.
And she's gonna get to, like, join him and being an immortal where these, like, overlord.
If she keeps sending him money, she will get to be immortal.
And then he would sometimes send it
dog will also be immortal.
But then she would just keep sending him more.
She'd send him like 40 grand, and he'd send her back like 5 grand. And he'd be like, see, I'm getting part of it. Don't worry. I think she ended up like millions, 2 or 3 million.
And he was like, and he
in
just kept
debt.
being like, none of this matters. It's all a simulation. No. It's all fake.
It was
and this is just how you
$6 million
prove that you know that it's what I'm telling you is real because the money doesn't mean anything, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yes, but it's like literally like a
I'm
cult,
not
but
gonna
no
tell
one
you
else
how
is
long
in it but her.
the punishment happens. Yeah. But he's having her send money from her restaurant and stuff, but she's willingly doing it in the cult. So there's it's just,
Yeah. I didn't finish it. I was very interested.
Yeah, it's a 2-person cult.
Yeah.
I watched it all. It's
it was
mind-boggling that happened, and it's all Alec Baldwin's fault. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't even know, like, if he really
that
knew.
man's been through enough this year. Let's
I
leave
don't
him
think
alone.
Alec Baldwin really knew him. I think he just interacted with him a lot.
He was interacting on Twitter,
and then she was like, "Oh, Alec knows him," and then she is a very like buys into stuff kind of person. Like, "Oh, like I know Alec, and Alec helped me with this, and if Alec knows this guy, or there's like a weird connection there, then it's very like meant to be personality. Like she thinks."
She did actually know Alec Baldwin.
She knew Alec Baldwin
in real life. Like he came into her restaurant a lot, and they were friends. So like at least she did actually know him.
Who follows Alec Baldwin enough on Twitter to see who?
Right.
Never mind.
Well, she actually met him, and she was trying to get out of a relationship, and they were like maybe gonna date, but they didn't. Then he met Hilaria in her restaurant.
Yeah, so she was very much
like
whole thing. All this is meant to be in her mind. That like all of it's
and
like
I really
connected.
wanted to believe her. I want to believe that she's just like that. Like I want to say that much of a sucker, but they've proven time and time again that literally anybody can get sucked into a cult if it's done the right way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Terrifying. But that's what I was up to.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So sports.
Let's hit this main transition right into something completely opposite.
Yeah.
The cult of sports, guys. So we're going to talk about sports, but make it sexy, right? Make it spicy. So we're going to be talking about sports romances. So last episode we talked about rom-coms, but this one we're getting a little bit more niche about sports rom-coms. There's a whole, literally any kind of romance if you want, guys, it's out there. So we're talking about sports in general, but then you got, any sport you can think of. We got hockey, we got soccer, we got football, we got... What else? What are the sports?
I'm bringing ice skating to the table.
There probably lacrosse, I'm sure.
I didn't realize, I guess intellectually I knew that this was probably like a genre that you could look up, but I'm not into sports at all. Yeah. And it's not something that I ever thought to look up to read a romance book about. Yeah. So when I was trying to figure out what to read for this episode, I looked up articles like the best sports romances, and there are so many. There was
many.
There's basketball. There's a water polo one. I almost chose because I was like water polo.
I love it.
It was so many.
Okay, I feel like do any of us really like sports? Because should we?
We are not sports people. I don't think. I don't.
No,
we really are.
I don't care.
Okay, so to be fair, I know way more than I normally would know about sports because my husband is obsessed with sports. So we have all I've been to lots of hockey games when we lived in St. Louis. I've been to lots of basketball games, lots of handfuls of football games. We go to soccer games.
Loretta, I know a little bit about hockey. Because my husband's a hockey person, and I prefer hockey over any other sport. My family, my parents and siblings and extended family, they're huge into football, but it's not just I don't care about football. There's a part of me that truly hates it. I really hate football. So
yeah, I hate what it does to people. I really don't like college. People can get mad. I don't care. I really don't like college football because the fans for college football are so much worse than NFL fans. Have you ever on a Saturday gone to a place where you usually get brunch and it's overtaken by OU or Texas fans? I live in Houston, so there's a lot of Texas fans here, and the place just gets straight up overrun. And each different bar has its alum situation, so different colleges will pick a bar that's their alum bar, and then they have all of their days of football there.
Oh Lord.
And so if you go to this one, it's Ole Miss, and this one it's Texas, and this one, and so but it's so many ex-frat boys in one spot that my head wants to explode. I mean, I'm married to an ex-frat boy, but, you know, it is what it is. I married a super sports nut,
I went to West Virginia University, which is a pretty big, like, football school.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the atmosphere of, like, kind of, like, being in that as, like, just a student and, like, the vibe of, like, let's tailgate, let's drink at 10 a.m., let's play, you know, like, get excited for the games. But, like, literally, we could have been, like, ping pong team. Like, I did not fucking care what it was. I just wanted an excuse to party and, like, wear matching shirts and be like, look at us,
tailgating was fun.
I almost never actually made it to a football game, and I'm always the person, like, I just want to, like, hang out in the stands, like, let's drink hot dogs and nachos, and, like, let's just chat. And then when people are actually trying to watch the game, I'm like, I don't know. And then everyone, like, is cheering, and I'm like, what happened? I have no idea. I am not.
No idea.
And then if they try to explain it, I'm like, actually, just don't. Like, don't waste your time.
Actually, just don't bother. I love going to Rockets games and basketball games in general for 2 reasons. The first one is the mascots and the little stunts they do in between sections are hysterical and really entertaining. I love Clutch. He's my favorite part of that. The second reason is that at basketball games, you can really dress up and look hot shit and you don't look out of place. Like, people get dressed nice for basketball games. Weird. Like, there's also people in jerseys and like jeans and t-shirts and whatever, but, like, you'll see a lot of girls in heels at the basketball games, and you can, like, dress up and look like hot shit at a basketball game and be like, it's date night, I'm gonna get dressed and I'm a Libra. I just want to get dressed up. I just want to have any reason. I can do that at a basketball game. And it's not 1,000,000 degrees. It's inside and there's AC. I'm here for it.
I don't like basketball because of a very probably stupid reason, but it's too squeaky. I don't. It's just too squeaky for me. They're squeaking all around.
No, it is very squeaky.
And I don't like it. It's too squeaky.
You're absolutely right.
Me.
It's extremely
squeaky.
I like
hockey for lots of reasons, but you can be comfortable, or you can dress up, like, because it's kind of chillier in there, so you're not like, oh, I need to just whatever. So you can kind of, like, bundle if you want to wear a cozy sweater, or you can wear cute boots, or I don't know.
You're right.
And it's fast, dude. It's fucking fast. Like, all their sports, I feel like, are so fucking slow. Like, this is fast.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And they don't score a ton, so, like, if you just, like, catch the couple of goals that they get, you're like, wow, I saw it. And, like, all the other stuff in the middle, if you miss it, like, it's kind of fine. And they can fight, which normally I'm a lover, not a fighter, but it is kind of fun too.
Yeah.
No, it's hot to watch guys just, like, duke it out on the field.
I grew up in Chicago.
I don't like boxing or anything like that, but, like, fighting on the hockey rink is kind of fun.
That's pretty hot.
I grew up in Chicago, and so I love to follow all of the Chicago teams. And so I love sports in relation to that. Like, I grew up going to the Cubs games and the White Sox games. So I love, like, that kind. I love baseball like going to baseball games, and I was briefly really obsessed with hockey because the Blackhawks got the cup. Yeah, that was super exciting. And but, like, outside of that, I don't follow it at all. I went to art school, and we did have sports. Like, sports teams at our art school. I went to art school.
You weren't at WVU.
We didn't tailgate.
Throwing up at 10
We didn't go to games. No.
We have a minor league hockey team in Charlotte called the Charlotte Checkers, and that is just such a fun night out. Like, it's not like an NHL game, so it's a little bit more chill. And sometimes it's, like, not even that packed, and you can just, like, eat, like, arena food and drink beer and, like, have a good time. And, like, I love, like, all the music and, like, the stuff on the big cam. Like, I always want to get on the Kiss cam. Yeah. It's, like, my number one goal in life to get on the Kiss cam.
I've never gotten on it. And I'm like, do I not look like somebody who has someone to kiss?
And we have this mascot.
Libra, hello.
He's, like, a big, fluffy polar bear, and his name is Chubby, okay? And I love him so much. I love Chubby. Anytime he comes near, I, like, lose my mind. I got a picture with him, and I just, like, that's he. And, like, the players, I don't know any of them, but Chubby, I fucking know Chubby. And I have this Chubby hat. It's, like, this, like, literally his, like, giant polar bear head. I feel like I should go get it, but
I love that.
I had to have it.
Really want something from Chubby.
I had to have it.
Clutch is a bear, and I love Clutch, but he's got this big old hoop tummy, and he, like, circles it around. It's pretty great.
I love Chubby.
Basketball is the one that I know. Like, I grew up going to hockey games and baseball games, and, like, I don't know if I've ever been to a basketball game. I've been to a couple football games. So, like, basketball is the one that's way out of the realm for me.
I have never liked basketball, but now I've absorbed so much because it's my husband's favorite sport. So it's on all the time. It is extremely squeaky.
Yeah, I know. It's so
for sure.
But
so squeaky. Okay, so as far as rom-coms go, it doesn't have to be a rom-com. I have a question for you since we've all read them. Does Devil's Night count as a sports romance? Because Michael's a basketball player.
Because I honestly always forget that they even do.
That it does.
Michael's a basketball player. That's his whole thing. He's a pro. Like, everybody else went to jail, and he went to play professional basketball.
So peace out, motherfucker.
Now he's got all this money to mess with people.
Honestly, I truly forget that. And he doesn't actually, like, play.
He puts a basketball court in his penthouse.
And that's the most basketball that's actually in it, is him just, like, dribbling around in the background.
Yeah, it's not really a sports
So I don't count that.
I'm just going to pretend.
That is funny.
I'm desperate enough. We're going to pretend that it counts. I've read
it totally counts.
1.5 sports romances.
Yeah, I feel like sports romances are not ones that I've, like, I don't think I've, like, purposefully gone after them. Like, I've read a couple of, like, ones by maybe, like, I don't know, like, Penelope Ward or something. Maybe somebody like that. Or
Vi Keelan.
Yeah, Vi Keelan. Yeah, maybe one of them, or like a combo, one of like a football one.
Yeah,
like some ones that like just kind of fall into my lap, and I'm like, I potentially went out of my way to get some hockey ones after I realized that I did like them, but I don't think I ever like initially was like, it must be this.
So I'm going to bring up Deb's contribution to this one topic is the Hardigans. So by Avery Flynn, the third book is a hockey player, and the girl that's like, I don't know, is she his press person or his athletic trainer? I honestly can't remember, but they were really cute. But she has a series that's like the Ice Knights hockey team after it, and I know that Deb's really into Avery Flynn's books, and I read the Hardigans, and I really like Tomboy, which is the one with the hockey.
Is that the Butterface series?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Butterface, and
I have that book.
I don't remember the second one. I read all three of them, but I can't remember it. These are the types of books that tend to blend together for me, are the sports ones. I don't know why, but they just blend a little bit. But they were cute. I remember liking them.
I feel like sometimes, like, depending on how the sports romance is done, like, the sport can just be so interchangeable. Like, it doesn't matter. There's like, sort of the trope with these is a bit of like, I mean, it varies, but it's like, it's more about like, I'm dating a famous person, and what they're famous for is this sport, and it requires them to travel, so there's going to be like that distance element, and then it requires like the spotlight, and then also like a lot of times there's like a media attention, so it's like, oh, well, you're known as a player in the media, so, or, you know, like you have like background information about this person because of their status as a professional sports player.
And like their fame.
So one of my favorite sports romance series is, or actually two, but they're like connected, is Elle Kennedy's hockey series. So she's got her off-campus series and her Briar U series, and they are new adult, I guess. It's all open door spice, but they are set in a college setting. So I kind of like that because they are not actually pro yet. So it takes a little bit of that down. Like they are kind of like within the school, like a lot of them are like, oh, they're the, like, you know, the top people at the school, everyone knows them, and like, you know what I mean, it is kind of like the popular people, I guess you would consider it. But also there's like range in there where some people are like, I don't follow the school's hockey team, I don't fucking know who you are, like, you think you're so fucking cool, like, whatever, you know what I mean, there's that to it.
That's funny.
But they're just like not like that high profile yet, that you can kind of have a little bit more of a, like, a more rom-com-y, more of a real person. And I actually really like her series because I would say more so with the off-campus series than the Briar U series. There's like a little bit more depth there. Like the first one, I think the girl has had like some kind of trauma, so she's like struggles to like be intimate, and so he like they have that sort of setup where he's like, all right, well, we'll like, I think there's like fake dating, but then he's also like, well, like, let me help you with that piece, and not in a creepy way, how it gets set up, because that could be really fucking creepy. I'll help you.
That sounds a little, let me help you with your intimacy issues.
Really well
I hope
done.
he didn't say it like that.
I love that first series the best. Briar U was awesome because then like there's some cameos, And so I think the first series, it's like a bunch of guys and they're like roommates, and you kind of get like each guy's story. And then the next one, it's like, because those guys start to graduate and then some of them go pro and they do different things. And I think like the next group of guys are connected to all of them, and like some of them like live in that house now. Like they've taken over the lease of that apartment, which is like kind of fun. And so like they're all connected. And I feel like the second one is a little more fluffy, but like the second series, but they're all just good because the hockey stuff is fun. Like someone like, yeah, because they like fight on ice. Like sometimes like they'll be like come back and they're like all busted up and the girl's like, oh my God, let me help you. What the fuck happened to you? Or there'll be like rivalries, like one of the guys on the other team is like messing with the girl, so then like they duke it out on the ice for her. So like that's sort of fun. Like how
I'm into it.
Yeah, with the hockey and in the college setting, I feel like there's more like the sport can kind of play more of a plot role other than like you're just famous for your sport and then you go away to do it. So that sort of, I like that in that college setting for me is good.
Yeah, and that gives it like makes it more accessible to those of us who like don't really want to learn every dimension of the sport to be able to follow along in a romance book. Like we want the fun of it and the energy, but we don't need to know
the baseball one I just read.
I mean, it was
college.
A really long time before I knew anything about hockey and that it had only 3 periods. I was like, wait,
I call them triangles.
I
did that one time on accident because I don't know, in my head I was like, oh, there's only 3 triangles, like period. My husband was like, what? I was like, oh, I don't know why I said that, but now I do it.
Triangles. There's 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like 3 in my head. There's 3 triangles, and he was like, "What the fuck? How does your brain work?" I do not know, sir.
All I know is the stadium stopped selling alcohol after the 7th inning, guys.
That's
rude.
So, and speaking of like not wanting to like get into the nuance of like the actual sport, there are certain times like even in hockey books or like any sports book, if they're gonna actually have a scene where they're like at a game. There's times where I'm skimming. I don't fucking care who's passing it, and who's doing. I just need like, what's the highlight? Did they score? Was there a fight? Was there beef? So did somebody get hurt? I am here for what I'm actually here for in a real game is like what's happening in the stands. Are they talking? What are they doing? Like I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't really care about the actual game. I don't want to read. I don't want to watch a game. I don't want to read a game. I don't. Just they had a game and then they won. That's all.
Absolutely.
I really need. So when there's a better balance of that, I prefer it because I don't need.
Yeah. Okay, Loretta, tell us about this baseball.
I think I probably would not pick a baseball one.
I need to know about it.
We were talking about this on the chat yesterday, and we were talking about how each sport gives like a different vibe or whatever. And you said that baseball gives you a preppy vibe, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty 100%. Much what this book was. It was like reading a book about popular people, which isn't bad, but it wasn't, I don't know. I really loved the writing. The writing was hilarious, and it started off great. I was like, this book is so fun. I'm laughing. I love it. And then there's like this ridiculous side plot where they like bet each other like, oh, I bet I can last longer without sex than you can. Oh yeah, you think so? And then it was so dumb because it was just like, it didn't add anything. It was just a way to drag it out. And then the ending was weird. So I feel like I broke even because I loved the characters and I loved the writing and it was funny. But the ending, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was okay. But I have a very specific rant that I want to go on.
Do it to us.
If I can go off on a tangent for a second.
Go.
So Jess, you just watched the beginning of the After movie, right?
Yes.
This is random, but you saw the class scene, right? Where they argue about Pride and Prejudice.
I don't even know if I got that far, to be perfectly honest with you.
There's a scene where they like go to class, like the main MC chick and the guy, they have an English class together, and then they get into an argument about Pride and Prejudice, and he calls Lizzie a whore and stuff, and she's like, what are you talking about? And literally that scene is in this movie. And, you know, the main character is supposed to be like a bookish girl. She wants to be a librarian. She's going to college for library science. And
in the baseball book?
In the baseball book. And she is holding Pride and Prejudice when she meets the guy. And that bugs the shit out of me. Why is it always Pride and Prejudice?
I don't like that. I've read that in other things before, too.
Jane Austen. I love Pride and Prejudice, but like there are other books.
It's not that great. It's not that special.
I'm so bookish and nerdy. I'm quirky because I'm holding Pride and Prejudice.
Yes, I don't like that. It rubs me the wrong way too.
I'm the Wuthering Heights girl, so I would have been definitely one of those bitches holding Wuthering Heights around.
But you've
like,
grown
it's got
since
ghosts,
then, okay?
so.
You've changed.
I have grown since then. I've gotten better. I would not be like, oh, look, here is this person with their
And then he comes
traditionally
along
classic
and-
book that is very cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Blah.
I hate it. I was like,
Give her
why?
some alien porn.
And then he meets her and he's trying to, she's lost because she's a transfer student. So he's showing her around and then they start talking about Pride and Prejudice and they get into an argument about it. And I was like, this is literally after.
Yeah.
I do not need this in my life.
This has already been done.
And then,
another movie.
They moved on and it got better, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we should just throw out Pride and Prejudice and
any other. There's
maybe
so
Jane
many
Eyre
books, and literally any other book.
And Wuthering Heights as options for books anyone's carrying around in anything going forward.
We read other things.
Yeah,
we need no Mr.
No, it just perpetuates that stereotype that if you're not reading those types of books, then you're not like a real intellectual or a real reader. And it's like, that's trash.
And it just makes the person feel bad who's actually reading the book because they're obviously not reading a classic. They're reading spicy baseball book.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm here
also,
for
Pride and Prejudice.
Hitting balls and hitting balls.
Real. Like, the movie is amazing. The book is like, it's not that good. It's not modern. It's just like old-timey writing.
It's not my favorite Austen book.
Nothing like so special happens.
Northanger Abbey. Again, ghosts. I like ghosts.
Northanger Abbey is my favorite.
It's so good.
Ghosts.
It is my favorite.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Either way, it's like there's a whole wide world of books out there. And who, like, the realistic,
Jane
no
Eyre?
one's walking around holding these
Jane
books
Eyre.
right now. I'm sorry.
I know.
Especially if you've already read it, then why is it in your arms? It should be nicely on your shelf.
23-year-old college student is first day out on campus.
She's like, you know what I should bring
reading
with me?
a Pride and Prejudice book. Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, and I don't buy it.
That way people will know I'm a real English major.
Like, that's a prop. You brought that as a prop, and I don't like people who are like that, so.
Yeah.
Wait, go away.
Go away.
It made me irrationally mad.
They should have given her blue alien porn.
I don't love
That's
that.
a fact.
Okay, but then you did start a hockey romance based on my recommendation.
I did. It's so cute.
Yay, I'm so glad. Yeah, Serena Bowen. So I love her. I actually think her and Elle Kennedy are friends, and there might be like some weird, like, you would only know it if you know it, like, crossover references in their stuff. But
yeah,
I love it. So
I started Brooklyn Air.
Yeah, so Brooklyn Air is part of the Brooklyn
Serena Bowen.
Bruisers World / series, and it's a made up professional hockey team set in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Bruisers. But they're so cute. So like, it's like the different players, and the one you're reading is the owner. And
it starts off with the owner of the team, and he's like a genius, a tech genius, and he he becomes famous and rich, like
buys a team.
Yeah, by creating softwares and shit. I don't know. He makes a phone, I think.
He's got like a smart house.
But and he has a bunch of money, and then he buys the team, and then he buys a team that's like not great, and he helps turn it around.
Yes.
But he's in love with his assistant.
Yes.
And he's like in love with her for years and years, but he doesn't say anything because, they're working together and he doesn't want to like.
Yeah, there's a power dynamic there.
And she's like, he could never like me. And he's like, I don't want to cross a boundary. But it's like, just be in love.
Right.
And she's been his assistant since like day one, when they're like in a tiny office with like sitting on boxes, have nothing. And now he's like this huge billionaire. So she's been with him
so cute.
From the beginning. And they're like good friends. So it's not like.
And he transfers her. He's.
Yes, that's what it is.
A couple of years before the book takes place, he transfers her to the hockey team.
Yes. To help
and so she's like the office manager or whatever of the hockey team. And she's like, what did I do? Why
did you send me away?
Why are you demoting me? And he's like, it's not a demotion. I'm just moving you. I need someone I trust in there. But really, he's like, she's like dating other people and stuff.
This unrequited love.
Oh, yeah. She's dating other people. And he's like, I can't even like look at this.
I can't handle this.
Yeah. It's so cute.
I know. It's so cute.
Kind of precious, kind of creepy, but like it'll probably work out
well.
He's
a hot nerd though.
He's like humble and like nerdy
and
like really sweet. It's a good one.
Oh,
I woke up early this morning to read it because I'm at the part where he like confesses his feelings and stuff, and I was like,
yay! Oh, yeah.
It's so cute.
Oh my gosh! See,
and now I want to read them all. I've seen a couple of other players on the team, and now I'm like, invested. I want to know
And
about
it's called
all of
Brooklyn
them.
Air?
So the one she's
Yeah.
reading is called Brooklyn Air, but if you just search her Brooklyn Bruisers series, then you'll get all of them. And I
Got
have
it.
read...
I got to start at the beginning. I know who
I
I am.
have read some of them out of order because I was like I'm on her like blogger list, so I was getting like some arcs and stuff. So I was like, I need to read those, and I didn't have the other ones. And a lot of these books like go on sale often, so I just started collecting them and reading them when I got them. But they're just great. Like they are standalone, but like they all go together. So like if you've been listening to us,
I love
you know
the
who we
worlds
are.
where it's like one person and
Me too.
the cameos go through.
We like that.
Yeah,
we
that's
like
my
when
favorite.
it all connects. So, and I think like that world connects with some other series of hers and stuff where like you can go even further if you want. But and she's one that I said before on the podcast that like her website, which I haven't looked back in a while to confirm, but she had them all separated out by trope if you wanted like. It doesn't just pop up that way, but if you go to a setting on her, like a link on her website, you can look at all of her things like broken down by trope. So there are ones on there that's like secret baby. So Jess, you could avoid that. Or like you could see this is enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, billionaire. The one that got away, all of that. She has it kind of broken down. So I like her. I like her vibe.
There's drama because when the guy moved his love interest or whatever to the hockey team, he got a new assistant, and there's drama with the assistant and one of the hockey players because they like used to be together and then they broke up, and I need to look if there's a book about them or not, but I feel like there has to be, and I really want to know like what the story is there. I'm so excited. I
love
need
that
more.
when you see the couples forming beforehand but then they get drug out a few books.
That's
I was
what the
say,
CSL
so
series is doing, and I'm like, yes,
so bad.
It's next, so we gotta wait a while, but
no. So if you're seeing that all those couples, they're like all the different players get their person, and like some of them, I think there's one where it's like the captain or the like coach's daughter, right? Is like wants to be with one of the players. Like that's a whole thing.
That's
she might even be like the publicist, or that might be a separate one. Like then the publicist is one, and like. It's
I like
fun.
it.
Yeah, I really like.
I love those little.
So I feel like those are more just a fluffy
fun.
rom-com, and I feel like Elle Kennedy's has a little bit more like deeper stuff, but they're both like very fun, like hockey romance. There's a lot of overlapping. I'm trying to think back to like Elle Kennedy's. Hers has like one, like I said, the one where the girl has like the past trauma, and then there's one where like I think the parent is like an alcoholic, so like they're dealing with that, and then there's one where like there is. You find out in one of the books, the guy for the next book comes in at the end and he's like, this girl's like having my baby. And they're like, what? Like, what?
Oh,
we thought you hated her or like something. And they're like, what? And he's like, I'm dropping off the team.
Right.
Like, I gotta go like do this. And they're like, you can't drop off the team. Like, what? And then you get his book.
You can't do that.
And, so like that's a whole thing.
When I was trying to figure out what to read for this episode, I found a book called Puck.
Oh, I was going to bring that one up because I did read that and do not recommend.
Did you? Is it good?
I don't recommend
it.
No?
Because I've read other Helena Hunt. It's by Helena Hunt. Yeah. And I've read some of her other books and I like them. I didn't love them.
I think I read one of hers and was
when
like,
I first read Puck, this was like several years ago, I didn't put it on my Goodreads because the title of it was just like, at the time, like too embarrassing for me. Now I'm like, well, I actually just added it today. I was like, this should just be on there, so I remember that I read it.
Yeah.
So I did not like it for like in general. Like the story was fine, whatever. But I can't even like say this. And I had to like look at a Goodreads review to like confirm this, and someone had the actual numbers of like how many times this girl says this, but she refers to his dick as a monster cock and like calls it monster cock like so many times throughout the book, and then abbreviates it to MC, short for monster cock. So like they had it written in a review that it was like 60 something times referred to this, so many times referred to it as this, and like in like a way that like the girl was like, ooh, I love his monster cock or whatever, but It was fucking weird. Like, and one review was like,
That's
so
awkward
I
as
had to
fuck.
like really think about like, was the guy the main character or was the monster cock the main character? And then they were like, so really,
MC.
yeah. So really, they were like, no, the main character was the monster cock, and it was just like attached to this poor dude. He's getting just dragged around. Like, it was a very funny review.
He has no personality other than his giant
and then I
dick.
forgot about this part as I was reading the review, that not only was she saying monster cock and MC and talking about it all the time, like way too much, like just talking about how gigantic this guy's like scary monstrous dick is in a good way. She was also referring to her parts as a beaver and then calling it the beeve.
No.
A lot. Like there was numbers for that one too. And so I'm so
I feel like I get to reveal
validated.
some lovely information.
I'm validated by these two reviews that I read because I was like, one, I'm glad I did not exaggerate that in like my post-reading memory, and two, I'm glad I was not the only one that was like very bothered by that. So like I think maybe if that was not in there, it would have been like fine. But
I own this book. I have the Kindle
just
version,
read it,
so now I
you
have to
can
read
be
it
like,
for
what the hell?
science.
I need to
I'm
know,
gonna
can you
highlight
do
every
accounts
time
of
she
monster
says it.
I
cock?
can pull up the review.
Can I also, since we're just going
Do
down
it.
this path already, mention that a handful of episodes ago when we were playing the written by a man
Yes.
quotes,
Yes.
remember the vibrating one where the vibrating was pulsing down there?
You're like a bit,
Oh,
like a bass,
yeah.
or like it was like music. Yeah.
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 Same author.
No.
Yeah.
For what book? Now I want to know.
Yeah, she is.
I don't
So
know
there's
what
a
book.
weirdness with this author, I think, how she writes stuff.
Yeah.
I just remember Dev told me about it. She was like, oh, this was
What
the
book
author.
did
And
I
I was like,
read? It was Cupcakes. It was something called Cupcakes.
I read Good Luck Charm by her, and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sit here and have a bag on Helena Hunting little session, but I do
liked
want
the
to
one
know
I read.
what
I don't know.
I remember.
Yeah, people like her stuff. I
Not
had a lot of
knowing
the
a lot
elements
about
that I
it.
liked. I remember, and I read the whole thing, but I hated those words that she used. And then this is also reminding me, Pucked and all the things we're saying in.
The one I read was a hockey romance, and I just forgot.
Well, in the hockey romance world, and just the
It was-
hockey world in general, but it's going to come up obviously in these romance books, there is such a thing called a puck bunny. Have you guys heard of this?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
no.
Okay, so puck bunnies are basically like hockey sluts. Like they're like the girl that like hooks up with every player on the team, and they only want to hook up with hockey players. And they're like sometimes they're just trying to like fill their roster, like get everybody, and they call them puck bunnies. And I think it's just so funny,
Gotcha.
a little truly demeaning to women, but also like I guess if they exist. And some women like own up to it. They're like, I am, right? And then, but a lot of times, like in the hockey romance books, they're like the enemy, right? So the girl's like trying to like be with the guy, or they're like not having defined their relationship yet, and then the puck bunny's like coming in to like fuck shit up, like start drama.
The Mary Sue is the one, and like the main character with her Pride and Prejudice book, and then here comes the Puck Bunny trying to be the mean girl in high school kind of concept.
That. And then or like they get caught together, and she's like, everyone knows her reputation. Like you can't tell me you were just like hanging out. You know what I mean? Because everyone knows that she's a puck bunny. So then there's like trust.
Can we just have some justice for women and their sexuality in our own fucking books that women are writing?
No.
Can we just have a second to be like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to follow the trope. I'm not going to call other women sluts. I'm just going to actually be
They gave him
nice.
a cuter name than sluts, okay? Puck Bunny is meant to be adorable.
Puck Bunny.
I know. And then it's bad because like sometimes the girl will like start to like be into the hockey player or whatever, and then they'll have like a friend or like someone who's like, oh my god, like, are you going to be a Puck Bunny now? And it's like, fuck off, man. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Let me
am.
live.
You're right.
Yeah.
The man I like's profession designates my terms and my sexuality and how I'm presented to the outside world. Because it's about him and what he does for a living, not about me and my choices I'm making. And I'll step off my soapbox now.
We support you though.
I love the soapbox.
Okay, so it sounds like none of us have really done much football. Do you have a football one on here, Jess?
So I do. I have a couple. So Rachel Van Dyken has done handfuls of football ones, and you guys know I love her, and she's got cute, sweet stuff. So Wingman Inc. it's not focused, like the guy is an ex-football player. and she's in college, but like he had gone and like got out for injury or something, and so now he's got to start a new business. But there's like bits of football in it, and then like there's other people as a part of it, and they made a movie. But basically, he's a matchmaker. He does like Hitch style stuff, but he was an NFL player. And then the Players Game series, they're all actually in like their sports actively. And the first one in the Players Game series, the main girl is a cheerleader, but she's like the first plus size NFL cheerleader that's out there. And so like it's really cute about her and like kind of her struggles in her own career.
Oh my
and
God,
then she's like,
now.
I cannot date a player. Literally cannot date a player. I've already got enough like stuff that I'm like up against and stuff. But the girls in the Players Game series, I think in the other one of the girls is like a soccer player or something maybe. But the girls are all like strong bitches. So there's I really like Rachel Van Dyken for that reason. Like her girls are not pushovers. There's no like Mary Sue quality to any of the women in her books. They're badass bitches in all of it. Mm-hmm. They could do without you, bro. You're just here as an accessory to me. So I always appreciate that. And they did turn the Matchmaker's Playbook into a Passion Flicks movie, which I did watch. And
I think I saw that too.
I do think that was a bad mistake. Okay, so the weirdest thing about these books, they have like visual novels on Kindle. So if you get the Kindle Unlimited version, I remember reading it on my phone, and there's like random live scenes that pop in from the movie. No. And like you scroll, and then all of a sudden there's like a video playing, and I was like, oh, I was not prepared for this. This is a Kindle book. Why is there a movie in here? And so it was really strange.
The movie's not good enough for that.
Yeah, but it was super weird when that happened. But and I don't think I love the movie, but it is a Passion Flicks movie. And so like, you know, we're getting what Passion Flicks is. And I'm just happy that she's making that extra cash from getting her book made into a movie, because she deserves all the good things. Yeah.
I feel like we should,
I've read those.
We should address what we said earlier too about like the different sports giving off a different vibe. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. So we said baseball, preppy for sure. What do we think about?
I didn't really realize that I agreed with you until you said that, and I was like, yeah, that was a totally preppy book.
And I think that like that's why I don't pick certain sports ones. I stick to hockey because for me in my head, I feel like hockey is like more angsty, more emo.
Yeah.
I associate maybe
football gives me like just dumb guy vibes.
Yeah, like douchebag
kind of
vibes.
Himbo, but not himbo as much. Like I have no basis for why I think this, because any football player I've met is not a complete idiot. But it like the concussion thing, maybe, I don't know, but it makes me get like he's gonna be really stupid vibes. But maybe a teddy bear, and that's not like based on anything, and I have no reason to really think that. But those are the vibes I get.
Really in my head, like bulky, and they don't like dress the way I like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You even have to fix their clothes.
Not my vibe.
You can only fit those giant shoulders.
They're gonna have
so
like big flashy.
You said
rings.
hockey was more emo.
I feel like it's maybe that's just my projecting that
and
I like
agree
emo
with
and
that.
I like hockey, that I like.
They like beat the shit out of each other.
It is, right? And they're not like.
No, you're right.
I don't know, trying to be like too dressed up on their off time. Like they're like in a hoodie. And like just, I don't know. They do sometimes.
We haven't brought up soccer yet, and guys, I love a soccer romance, and so soccer is also like exotic. Yeah. Because it's such a big international sport. So you get a lot of, like, to me, it's exotic. To other people, it's not exotic. But it's just a big international sport. And so you actually get more cultures and differences and changes in those books. Like, you can have people from all over the country who are into soccer. And it just feels like smarter to me. I don't know.
I'm curious about like
players,
any kind of just swimming romance or water polo or like I feel like I'd be into
Ryan Lochte's of the world.
Yeah.
I can't ever get over Ryan Lochte, guys. I had the biggest crush on that dumbass for so long.
Swimming is not as so fun to do in that setting because it's like just such a
I don't know why I'm intrigued by the thought of it, but
it's just such a solo event, whereas like a team's like a competitive versus sport is that like
there's like more drama there.
Yeah, where like you're like charging each other, right? And like you can like take out your aggression on the other team or like during the game kind of a thing. And like there's more room. I think there's more room for showing like if there's drama happening outside of the game, how it comes in and like affects him. Like if he's like all fucked up in his head from a fight and his game's off, and the other teammates are like, "What's wrong with you?" And then he like gets, I don't know.
That did happen in the baseball one, and I was into it because like shit happens with the girl and him, and then like it affects his game, and the players are like, "What's wrong with you, man?" And I was into that.
Yes.
I love it.
I found
the drama.
Just a quick one about like tennis. Do you guys remember that movie Wimbledon?
I love
never
that
watched
movie.
it.
Have a moment.
That it existed.
Okay, it's some. I can't even remember it. It popped into my head because
Where's
we're talking
our
about solo
tennis
sports,
romance?
and I'm like, tennis.
I
don't know that I need one of those.
That I read is called,
but it's still elegant, very
I read
elegant.
The Baller by it's Vi Keelan or V Keelan.
I have read that.
Yeah,
Vi Keelan.
That's the football one I read.
I read that.
I don't remember it that much. I
don't remember
like a
it
sex
at
scene,
all.
like up against a glass window, though. That might be a different book.
I feel like I
Nice.
would remember
That might be
that,
different.
but apparently I
I
don't.
feel like it was this one, but
Is that what sport is that?
that's football, and that one's very like
Mhm.
he's the Super Bowl MVP, so he like it's very much like
Oh,
celebrity
there you go.
romance.
Yeah. I think I have.
And then
read
like I
that
think
one.
like with
Sounds
this
familiar.
one and like other ones that I've read, like they're like things come up when they're like they're being interviewed and they're like, oh, I like this girl, like you know.
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of
Don't talk about it. That's happening in the book that I'm reading right now. So right now I'm reading Culty by Mariana Zapata. And this is only the second of her books I've read because it's 544 pages long.
Her books are long.
It's a hefty romance situation. But the girl is a professional soccer player and he's the ex like world star and he's now her coach and they're trying to figure it out. Like he's 39, she's 27. So that's thing, but they all seem cool with it. But it's interesting, and like so far I'm like 60% and they have not even hugged in an overly friendly manner. It's all built up in her career and how their friendship is building. And I know that this author is known for her slow burns because I read one of her other books a while back, but it's really interesting. And then like their friendship is forming, and so the like media is all over it and they're like, oh my gosh, are you guys together? What's happening? Trying to like call him out on stuff. And she's not used to that amount of media coverage. And she's like, whoa, what is happening? So it's an interesting like situation. I think I'm going to like it by the time I finish it.
I want to read it.
The only other book I've read by her was From Lukov with Love. And it's about two ice skaters and they get put in a pair and they don't like each other. Like they hate each other. They're like enemies to lovers for sure. Like they do not like each other. But the guy, I remember he reminded me so much of Evan Lysacek. And do you guys remember when Evan Lysacek was like the ice skating king of the US a few years ago?
Yes.
He's like really like 6 foot billion dark hair, just like huge guy. And he was so hot. He was like winning gold and stuff, I think. And I was like just completely obsessed with him for a while there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is Evan Lysacek in a book. And I love
Thank
it. But
you.
like they're going to the Olympics as a pairs couple or they're trying to like make comebacks. And I think both of them have had like messed up careers and they got stuck together because that's the only pairing they could deal with. And then,
oh my God,
so like they're going
so
together and they don't like each other, but they've
it's
got
like the
a
Cutting
really
Edge.
good
Did you guys
rhythm.
ever see that movie?
It's very much like the Cutting
Yeah,
Edge.
I want
But there is a lot more anger and background. And like these are long books. There's a lot going on in there.
I'm so excited for this now.
Yeah, I think you should read that one. But that was nice skating. That's a sports book. That's a sports book. But they're going to the Olympics. Yeah.
I'm a horse girl. I want someone to do like horse romance.
I bet you it exists.
We need equestrian stuff.
I need to look this up. I just thought of that.
That are
right
not
now.
cowboy. That are not cowboy.
Not
we need equestrian Olympics.
I bet you it exists.
Equestrian romance.
Sure it does.
I need to Google this.
It has to.
I don't want to get on Google right now.
I'll update
if you
everybody
don't have
on the next
breaches in your life.
Next episode. Horse love. That sounds really weird.
Oh my gosh! Now I'm thinking about Mr. Darcy's thighs in those pants.
Stop it!
What's wrong with me?
My God.
I'm sorry.
I love it.
I'm not
now
sorry.
I'm thinking about them.
Darcy.
Those tall boots. Why do men give up on the knee highs, guys?
And when he just
maybe that's why people like football players' pants. I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's weird. Like I like hockey. I mean, if I'm gonna pick up a sports romance, I pick hockey, and I prefer to watch hockey in real life. But like, it's just so bulky. You're not like enjoying their bodies in a hockey outfit.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
And
There's so much
a
padding
lot of
happening.
these real life players are like not so good and hot as they describe them in the book.
And
hockey players are missing a lot of teeth. I mean, at least
Mhm.
all of them are missing
For
at
sure.
least probably one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you are
For
playing
sure.
professional hockey and you have never had your teeth knocked out, like I feel like you're in a minority, probably, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
And like some of them are like they're a little beastly. Like
They
I would
are?
say
There's like cuts and stuff. Well, like, but
but some of them
it's
are
so
like,
hot when they like rip their helmet off and chuck their helmet onto the ice.
Oh my god, yeah.
Why is that so attractive? I don't know.
I don't know.
they just like
It shouldn't
spit
be.
the blood out of their mouth.
But, like,
and
you just
let's
rip
keep
your helmet
going.
off and
You're
just
like,
chuck
what's
it.
happening?
Yeah, and you're like, oh my god, why are teeth flying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's something also
This
about
is-
like because they can fight, but it's not just like okay, two guys will get into it, right? But like sometimes these fights break out because
Mhm.
the other guys are like, "You're not gonna fuck with our guy," so then they're like, it's like.
It's like a
but
mob.
also like bromance, like they're like backing their buds up.
It
Like, I
is.
don't know.
They're best friends, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
can't hit my player like that.
In real life, it's probably
Oh
not like
my
that, but I
gosh.
read a lot of romance, so in my head, it's all love and romance.
That's exactly what
They're
it
all
is.
standing up for each other.
Oh, this is my bestie.
My husband would be like, "What if you could hear me now?" He's like,
I love
"What the fuck are you talking about?"
Okay,
Let me live,
So-
okay?
Okay.
I think that. All right, so for today's game, we're not really going to do a game. We're just going to make fun of sports terms. And I'm going to read off
Sexualize
Like,
them.
inappropriate sounding
I've been
sports terms that we don't even know what mean. Your
I've
favorite one
been-
is first, Loretta.
Oh yes.
What's your favorite? Okay.
I can't remember. It's been a
Yeah,
hot
what's
minute.
Loretta's favorite? It's tight end. A tight
But
end.
also, what sport is
Tight
that?
end.
Is that football?
I was gonna say
Football.
football.
It's a position in
It's a
football.
position.
And this is just all
That makes it worse.
Rob
That
Gronkowski.
is
The
worse.
Gronk.
Like, you have to tell someone like, "Hi, I'm a tight end."
We don't even have to do any work with this.
Like, if someone told me they were a tight end, I'd be like, "I'm sure you are." Yeah, you are.
They block out wide as another receiver or in the slot. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking gibberish to me.
Wait, say the slot part again.
Yeah, slot.
God,
They get in the slot.
just say slot.
Oh, this is going well.
Okay.
God.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
like bad sex writing, getting in the slot.
Here's one.
Did a man write
Field
this?
hockey. A term for field hockey is stroke off.
No. Ew. What does it mean?
Okay, the ultimate decider in field hockey. I mean, that's what she said. This is all that's what she said. This is the whole thing is just jokes. If the score remains tied at full time, 2 sudden death overtime periods, and 2 shootouts, a stroke off.
No,
is
Oh my
needed.
God,
that's
it's like-
so
like-
bad.
It sounds like
Through 2 sudden death shootouts, and you're still even, and
It
you
sounds
got
like
a stroke
Dixie
Okay,
off.
I know
Island.
what a
I just-
shootout is. What's a stroke off? Like, what are they doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
They just like
I
tickle.
Don't you
finger
want
with their
anything
last
about
word.
field
you're a
hockey.
hockey watcher.
I,
This
but
is field hockey,
is
though.
different.
Like,
Oh, okay.
okay, this one is my favorite. It's from cricket. Sticky
Oh, yeah.
wicket. I just like to say it.
Yeah, that's just a good time.
This metaphor, derived from cricket, refers to a difficult circumstances. Sticky wicket is a way to describe tough conditions in the sport of cricket, usually in reference to a damp or soft pitch.
Oh no! So they just get out there like, oh, here's a sticky wicket today.
Among counter
Sticky
I
wicket.
guess. I just
Look at
I
the
think
sticky wicket.
it just sounds
You have
fun
to
to
say it
say.
in an accent.
You don't want to hear my fake
No, I
British
don't even know
accent.
what
Okay.
mine was.
Kicked
It was
off.
Not right.
Oh gosh, this is fun. Baseball for your
Oh.
buck. A backdoor slider.
Yeah.
They
That'd be
might
great.
have said that in the book.
Just
at
like
some point.
literally a pitch used to deceive
This is
hitter.
my thing. I feel like they could have chosen other words for all of these things.
Yeah, there are lots of words, and
Yeah.
they chose these.
Like, you know what? This is great. This is a backdoor slider. You're just gonna slide
Oh my
in the
gosh.
back door.
Okay.
Backdoor
that-
lover.
Slider.
There are We're done.
Jess is like,
We're
move
just
on.
done. No, it's hilarious. I got 2 basketball ones that are equally awful. Facial and rim shot.
Ooh.
Those
Those
together
just
are
sex terms,
interesting.
right?
They just are.
I mean,
yeah,
just
facial.
straight up.
We're not talking about the spa kind.
No. I don't think we're really even talking about
Why was
basketball
facial-
anymore.
We really don't even
We are
have
not
to
in
do
the
any
world of
work with
basketball.
these. They're
No,
already
they
like
did for us.
No, they've done
They
all the
just like, went
work.
on UrbanDictionary.com. They're like, great, we're going to use
This
all
sounds
these
good.
for our sports terms.
yeah.
This sounds inappropriate. Let's use it and talk about it really loud in an announcer's voice.
You know what? I bet
Oh,
you
the
back
rim
in the
shot.
beginning of sports, a man was not really playing sports. He was cheating on his wife. And she was like, I heard you talking about all these things. He's like, no, you just don't understand. These are sports
It was basketball,
terms.
the rim shot.
And then he had to get all the other guys on board to be like, right, these are sports terms.
That sounds
and then it
right.
just stuck until eternity.
That sounds correct.
Oh God, that's 100%.
That's what
Oh my
happened.
God. Okay, I got a final one before we wrap this thing up for the fun today. I don't even know what this is. It's in football. It's a muffed punt. I
It
don't
sounds
even.
painful for us.
The receiving team's player accidentally touches the ball in an attempt to catch. A botched catch is a muffed punt.
I literally have never heard that.
Why is that
That is
perfect? I've never
perfect.
heard that
I'm
term
gonna
in
go
my
hang
life.
out with my
And I've listened to
my
them.
family who loves football, and he's like, "Oh, guys, was that a muffed punt?" And just see if any of them actually know.
Anybody reacts.
Be like,
I will
what?
die
I
if they're
don't-
like, "Yeah."
I'm not convinced that that's an
Yeah,
actual
that seems-
term. I think that somebody just was like, this will be fun. Let's mess with people.
Yeah.
What?
Anyways, backdoor slider
Yeah.
is gonna be stuck in my head now. For days and days.
Backdoor
Yeah.
slider.
Like, if basketball's on, I'm going to be like, was it a rim shot? I
Or
don't
a
know.
facial. It could be either or.
Just like,
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right.
thanks,
Okay.
Sports World. You did it.
this was fun. Thanks for all those ridiculous ass terms. So follow us on socials. We're at Emo Girls Guide. And may your day be blessed with main character energy.
Main character energy.
That was perfect.